That's why I'm not like that. Please.
Okay.
You want to talk about that?
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Thursday, May 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Culver Town Council. I'd like to remind everyone, this meeting is being recorded and your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. If you have any type of electronic device, if you please either turn it off or put it in airplane mode, it'd be appreciated. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger.
Present.
Justin Croy.
Present.
Jenny Monroe. Here. Valerie Ricciardi.
Here.
And Dana Neer's absent.
And there's that. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I had a chance to review the May 8th, 2025 meeting. Excuse me. Meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Monroe moves to accept the minutes. Mr. Sardi seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing first.
And Mr. President, Marion Peters from the Marshall County Solid Waste District is here to address the council as part of public input. If she could do that before, prior to the.
Okay,
public
thank
hearing.
you. We're at the stage of public concern, utility ordinance violations and appeals. Peterson.
You're welcome. Hello, I'm Mary Ann Peters. I'm from the Marshall County Solid Waste Management District. And if you're not familiar with it, we are the county's facility that accepts household hazardous waste such as chemicals, batteries, pesticide. And we also have a recycling drop-off area as well. We have a lot of folks from Culver that drive up and recycle with us. I wanted to stop by tonight to tell you specifically about an event we have coming up in June. It's our hopefully first annual Tire Amnesty Day. So this is for all Marshall County residents who have waste tires on their property. They can bring up to 10 at a time. On June 21st, we'll be there at the depot from 8 until 3. And this is something we're doing thanks to a grant from IDEM. They're really concerned about getting waste tires cleaned up in Indiana. They're a real health hazard, and they're also just unsightly. And they also seem to grow like mushrooms. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if one person throws a tire on the side of the road, everybody starts doing it. So what we're trying to do is once a year, provide an opportunity for homeowners to just get them cleaned up and just get them taken care of. So I have a couple flyers. I don't know if you guys would like one, or I can leave a couple. Just with the date and the time. And we are going to ask people to give us a proof of residency because we'll take a lot of tires, but we don't need to be taking tires from a tri-state area.
Sounds like they're all down cleanup days.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll also leave a copy of our annual report. This is something I just do every year. It tells a little bit about the depot, a little report on what our last year was like, some of the weights of materials that we accepted. Last year we had 153 tons of paper and cardboard. So, and also just some information about our tires on there, and then our educator. We have a full-time educator who provides eco education to whoever wants it in the county. So I will leave that as well. So do you have any questions for me or?
Up there,
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
it's in a place I know you get rid of batteries.
Yes, yep.
You
Okay.
still have that mega power shredder?
You know, we don't have the shredder. We have a shredding company come now
Oh,
and
do you?
take shredding.
Okay.
So once every 4 weeks, you can bring your papers in to get shredded.
Do you have any trees left?
No. We had a tree giveaway and we gave away 400 trees. Oh, sorry.
All right, is there anything else?
Nope, just wanted to stop by and share that information with you. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Is this public input?
Yes, go ahead.
I didn't see an opportunity to speak at the unsafe building meeting, so I'm trying to do it now. 205 Akron was given a deadline for the wall, and it really wasn't addressed in this recent. So is there any suggestion or comments about how that wall ties into his violations?
Yeah, I think that wall was on the original list that we motioned to have fixed. So it should be within that set of work order.
Okay.
It was in that original list that we looked at.
In November, and it's frustrating because I can't find anything on the town's website about unsafe building. There's no minutes, there's no heading, there's no anything. The only way I can find it is to go to YouTube there. And it's also frustrating because meeting postings aren't there. So some people don't know about the meeting, some people just don't get the message out. I was hoping there would be a regular meeting for unsafe buildings, not that it would come up on his schedule. He was given, or Akron was given till spring to do something with that. That was based on the meeting of November 26th. Spring is only 3 weeks away or so, 4 weeks away. Is that?
Barry, this was advertised as a separate meeting though. We had a separate agenda for it.
Yes, I saw that on
Yeah.
town account, but it was not, that was not on the town website that I could find.
Yeah, my apologies. The other meeting for it, I didn't get that one on there, Carrie.
No, and that's why
No, yeah, absolutely.
I'm
You're
trying
right.
to find any resource I can to be accurate when I speak to you, and not seeing any minutes or even any notifications is frustrating. So Akron was given till spring to address the wall. Is that timeframe still viable, or are we now into August? Is that all been pushed up?
Because it was part of the original list and not completed, he will have until that August deadline to get anything on that list that wasn't completed, including that.
Okay, so now it's not, there was discussion of March, there was discussion of May, and there was discussion of spring back in November. So now.
It's August
all
now.
that has been
Now it's
reset.
August. Yes, it's August. It's August 10th.
And I'll just-
14th. August 14th.
14th, sorry, you're right. I'll just reiterate that I have been following this particular case for 9 years now. I have been watching it get kicked down the road every single year. It's become a point of hypocrisy and comedy, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Anyone online for public concern utility ordinance violation appeals?
No one's unmuting.
No one's online. Okay. Public hearing, additional appropriations. May I have a motion to open the public hearing at 6:45?
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Monroe,
Second.
second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So, per state law, we have to, if we're going to spend money above what we have budgeted last August for 2025, we have to do an additional appropriations. We have to post notice and we have to have a public hearing. And so there were several items that came up that we had not budgeted for. And I'll go over the list. $247,845 for trail maintenance, and this is the construction cost for Lake Max Phase 3. And that was approved by council at the beginning of the year. We did not know the cost of that project when we set budgets, and redevelopment had been supporting that project. But being outside of town, we felt that it was probably better to come out of the general fund. Funds from MVH restricted, and local roads and streets are the additional funds required for the Lakeshore Drive project. That was approved by council late last year, but I'm just appropriating the funds in order to move those funds from their specific funds over to the local road and bridge grant fund. So it's more of moving funds than spending additional funds. So then 149, that total is 149,640. It will be transferred to the grant fund, and then apologize. And then out of the grant fund. Yeah, and then out of the local road grant match fund, we're appropriating $1,349,081. $146,000 is our local match, and then $337,270 is our local match, and then community crossing expense is $1,011,810.75, and that is money that has already been appropriated to us by NDOT and is sitting in that fund for when we expend all of that money. Then the riverboat fund, $18,000, and that was money that the council committed to Dustin's Place. And finally, the park non-reverting gift fund, $16,361.13. That was money that was donated for the courtesy pier. Are there any questions?
That $200,000 to a trail, that's a lot of money out of the general account that you didn't budget for or plan for. Can't you scale that thing back or postpone it for another year or so?
We've been pushing it out away. We've been waiting 5 years for it to be completed.
I mean, it's a big chunk of money that all of a sudden you got to appropriate for, that you didn't plan in the budget. It just seems very.
Russ, let me, actually, if I may, just really quick, the decision came down to this. Because there was federal grants involved and because there was delay in the projects, it came down to a decision that the town could either scrap it or go forward. The scrapping would have cost the town around $200,000, close to it. To complete the project, it was $41,000 more than it cost to scrap it. Either way, we were committed to those monies. So the decision had to be made for $41,000 to get the trail and continue, or to scrap it and pay back the federal.
We had already committed match dollars. This was an NDOT grant for us that came out the same year that we won Stellar and Culver. That following year, NDOT awarded us the dollars for this project. So it's not like it was.
Doesn't answer my question. You knew about this, why wasn't it budgeted?
You didn't have the exact number,
And NDOT kept delaying it.
and it went out for bid after we set the budget.
You have to wait for the bids to come back.
And it cost $200,000 to abandon the project. Who would get that money that
NDOT. You have to pay NDOT back for their investment.
It's not a choice, Russ.
we got the money from them? What happened to the money we got?
It pays for all the upfront work and environmental, preliminary engineering, et cetera. If you suddenly say, we no longer want your 900 whatever thousand that you were granting us, but they've already spent dollars on it, you basically have to pay them back because it's their money. You sign a contract with NDOT. The problem is an NDOT project often doesn't go to bid for 5 years later. You finally hit construction and you finally get to bid to know the true costs. Well, in that amount of time, the original estimates have drastically usually changed. So you don't know exactly what you're budgeting for.
This was part of conversation prior to council meeting when we approved it.
Any other comments in the public hearing? Ms. Hyman, you have anything else?
I do not.
Done. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So
It's been moved by Mr. Shardy,
Second.
second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I show that, 6:50.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriations or you want first read or?
There's one item under old business that wasn't on the agenda that was added.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, in the old business, consideration of 2025 P001 by the Culver Town Council.
I can speak to that.
Thank you.
So the council president signed a letter to the plan commission regarding 2025 P001, the certified proposal to amend the Culver zoning ordinance regarding solar energy systems and energy storage systems. The recommendation for one additional sentence in this under Part B authority. The recommendation from the town council stated, if the position of the building commissioner is vacant, the plan commission president may step in with the authority of the building commissioner. At our plan commission meeting on Tuesday, they agreed with this sentence, but the plan commission wanted to make one change also. And instead of being the president of the plan commission, they wanted it to be the town manager. So the additional sentence would read, if the position of building commissioner is vacant, the town manager may step in with the authority of the building commissioner. The rest is unchanged. They signed a new certified proposal.
So they put it
Put it in writing, signed proposal for this.
right. Okay, I get it.
You, Mr. President?
That would do with the change.
This will still, require the public hearing, right? As far as the system goes, I know that was the discussion we had last time, was coming to a public hearing. In order to get the special permit, they have to notify what's building commissioner, right? That goes to,
So I think what you're referring to is it's special use.
Yeah.
So it'll have to go to the board of zoning appeals. There's no, well, there'll be a hearing at the board of zoning appeals. It won't be a hearing for
My issue is
this
if he's
council.
not here to authorize them moving forward, somebody has to handle that. It makes sense to have it be the town.
Did we vote to approve this? now?
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Accept the recommendations of the plan commission,
okay.
if you want to.
Is there a motion to accept the recommendation?
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendations.
Mr. Shardy moves to accept the recommendations that are second.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Who's got the official document? Steve,
Here you got the signature page.
I have a signature page.
just have to put the right language in. Make sure you got the right language. Okay, whoever does it's been drafted. They put in their proposal, or say.
The short answer is no, it should be drafted.
Yeah, we got. That's right, the change with that. Okay.
Yeah, an ordinance
Well,
created.
this was drafted.
Inserted in the
Oh.
ordinance, we'll get it right down, put the signature page. I'll send you.
okay, under new business, ordinance 2025-005 additional appropriations. Motion to accept the additional appropriations.
I'll make the motion to accept the additional appropriations.
Ms. Monroe moves to accept the additional appropriations. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shardy.
Are we passing on first read since it's ordinance?
Pardon?
Are we passing it on first read since it's ordinance?
Yes, I'll amend the motion to say that we're accepting the additional appropriations on first read of ordinance 2025/005.
And on second, the same.
John, it's been Moved to approve on first read. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We suspend the rules.
Since it was unanimous.
You don't have. Like,
Right.
I'm okay waiting till the next meeting. For second.
Yeah. third read.
Dave
May I ask
wants
the order, is that allowable since there's 4, it was unanimous and we're missing one member? To
I
suspend the
don't have
rules?
to review your, I don't remember. off the
Okay,
top of my
that's
head.
fine, I'll wait.
Err on the side of caution. Read it again next time. I'll get you an answer.
It's okay, I'll wait. It's fine.
Next on the agenda is ordinance 2025-006. Amend the 2025 salary ordinance.
Yes, at the last meeting, or 2 meetings ago, you approved the hiring of a part-time clerk assistant, and setting for the wages between $18 and $20 per hour. We needed to amend the salary ordinance because what was reflected in the salary ordinance was much lower. So what you have before you, or what was emailed to you, is that amendment. We also needed to amend the salary ordinance to reflect what the current staffing at the park, which we'll review at the end of the summer, and then probably amend it again for summer of 2026. But we needed to add 3 we need to, the current superintendent has several assistant superintendents to cover specific areas of the park. And so we just put a number 3 behind the assistant superintendents, and that pay range is between $15 and $18 an hour. And then she has 2 interns, and that pay range is between $12 and $15 an hour. All of these are returning people that she's had previously in the summer that will support running the park this year. And then we'll give her time, we'll review and kind of dissect how things went in the summer, and then make some different decisions for next year.
So Karen, is this creating a new position, paying a new position, or is this the same budget, just dividing it up differently between
For which?
the park?
For the park, it's the same budget. She just has people that have had these titles, but we wanted to reflect it accurately in the salary ordinance. I think it's similar to what had happened in the past. So we just want to have it correct.
Yeah, thank you. All motion that we amend ordinance 2025-006.
Just approve it.
On first read.
On first read. Yeah, on first read.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Those same sign. Thank you. Ordinance 2025-007, amended bond ordinance.
Amended and restated ordinance, an amended and restated ordinance of the town of council of the town of Culver, authorizing the town of Culver, Indiana, to issue its taxable economic development tax increment revenue bonds, Culver Equities LLC project, into 2 series, and approving and authorizing each actions into respect thereto. This will require 3 readings, council. This is tonight's the first. Whereas the town council of the town of Culver, Indiana, has hereto adopted an ordinance number 22302 on January 9th, 2024, the original ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of the town of Culver, Indiana, of its taxable economic development tax increment revenue bonds in 2 series. Whereas the town issued the Series A bonds on July 30th, 2024, in the amount of $3,427,000. Whereas the town council now seeks to amend and reinstate the original ordinance in its entirety, the original ordinance as amended and reinstated herein, the ordinance, to reflect and redesignate a portion of that area as defined below to create a new allocation area pursuant to sections 39 and 56 of the Redevelopment Act, with the incremental ad valorem property taxes levied and collected on the taxable real property within such new allocation area. Now, therefore, the original ordinance is hereby amended and restated to provide its entirety hereafter follows. What this essentially ordinance will do is reattaching the second bond, which was always meant to be issued. It's formally declaring it. And we're attaching an allocation area to that second bond specifically. And this is under the recommendation, again, we've talked about with Barnes and Thornburg, they wanted to specifically make that allocation attached to that bond to adhere to the stringent or the most conservative reading of the state statute. Essentially, all we're doing is creating a third allocation area within that TIF area and attaching it to the second bond with anticipation of the second bond being issued, as well as establishing once again the town's commitment to the second bond. I offer that for the council's first reading approval.
I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 2025/007
On first reading.
on first reading.
Second by Mr. Shardy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, council. I will also, again, this by way of reflection, I know things get lost. We will email this whole section to you for the second reading before the next meeting. I'll make a note of it. That way you have it fresh again. Thank you.
Next, the tax abatement for ACPI.
You approved 2 tax abatement forms, the CF1 for personal property for Sand Hill Farm in the Paddocks last meeting. I received this sort of compliance with statement of benefits of personal property from ACPI Wood Products for the tax abatement that they have out there. And I did email that out. This is you just certifying or not certifying that the property owner is or is not in substantial compliance with the tax abatement. So I would just need a motion to determine whether you would like to state that ACPI is in substantial compliance or they're not in substantial compliance.
I'll make the motion to
Well, it should have been.
certify the compliance statement of benefits for the ACPI abatement.
Mr. Monroe moves to approve the tax abatement for ACPI. Second by Mr. Shardy. Any discussion?
Yeah. How do we know,
Right.
how do we know whether or not we're in compliance? What are the terms?
So I think it was a full term, 100% on the property, as well as, I forget what they call it, but we did an abatement based on if they, and this was even before it became a CPI under what was called LK, I think at the time. Yeah, so they have to submit paperwork, I believe, on an annual basis saying, yes, we did put in the equipment that we said we were putting in to upgrade our plant. Yes, we did create jobs, etc. I think it's a 10-year, we're probably in year, we're getting pretty late in it, I believe.
17, it's 10 years, so that would be.
We're near 8. And I think when we did this through MCEDC, we agreed to
Yes.
100% at the time, right? It wasn't incremental amendments. I've seen some of the equipment they put in for myself, just because I did a tour of the plant, I mean, like year to year. They did a huge property upgrade. And that was part of the abatement, was putting in equipment that allowed them to do like automatic paint.
You sent them.
Yeah.
CEDC used to do a
All those
tour
in favor
for us
signify by saying
each
aye.
year. Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Unsafe.
I was thanking Karen for grabbing.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Okay, unsafe building update.
I think we covered that.
All right.
Just want me to do it again in this meeting.
Water and sewer rates. Fine.
This is the meeting. So prior to the last council meeting, we had a work session to review a water sewer rate study. It was determined that we did not need to increase sewer rates, but we do need to increase water rates. I put together a spreadsheet that I placed in front of you showing what the current water rate is based on 1,000, 2,000, basically 1,000-gallon increments. Hopefully you can tell where you are on your normal water usage, and you can kind of get an idea of what your bill might be. For someone that, and so this is assuming that council goes along with the rates that were proposed. That at the 1,000, the base, well, let's see, I'll go for the whole bill. So under the current, if you use 1,000 gallons, you're paying $63.31. That's the whole water, your whole utility bill: water, sewer, trash, storm, fire protection, and sales tax. Under the proposed, if you use 1,000 gallons, your total bill is going to go to $90.22. I'm happy to share this if I've got a couple of copies, but this is for councils. If you would like to move forward with the rate increase, I will contact Baker Tilly and ask them to start preparing documents. We'll have to have a public hearing. So
What's the water for?
if you look,
On here?
it is on there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you'd like me to read it to you, it's 1686 is the base currently,
Hold it.
and it'll go up to 3864. So
That's what that minimum base.
that's the minimum bill, yeah. So, but just a reminder that water rates have not been increased for 10 years.
It's a 50% increase in the whole bill.
Certainly. Water went up 50%.
But it's not going, we're not increasing sewer, and it's not been increased for 10 years. And we're getting to a point, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I would like to add that the numbers that were put in front of you were independently arrived at by Baker Tilly after. I'm sorry, just a moment, please. Thank you. The numbers that arrived in front of you and the graphics that you're looking at, the data that was generated by Baker Tilly based upon the study. They're looking at stabilizing the fund for the next 4 years. Also accounting that that fund has not been added to in terms of a rate increase for 10 years. The secondary concern is also being in compliance with the state, who's recommended to us that this is a necessary step. Just to understand what the impetus is. This is not a random impetus. There is a driving need that is being told by independent data. We are not alone in this, as the comparison chart provides you, and we're looking at about $1.50 to $2 over the state average for a utility our size. The last thing I would add to that comparison is that one of the issues that Baker Tilly pointed out to us is that we have part-time residency. We do not generate the same volume or income stream as other communities because they have full-time residents that are generating and adding to that utility bill or payment through full-time usage, where we're seeing much smaller usage numbers than other communities. This is not me. This is Baker Tilly's report to us. It is the third report we've received from them.
yes, it's, I think, right around COVID, right?
Did it in 2020, and it was decided that we did not want to place additional burdens on the residents. And so we kicked it down the road and did another review and
Kicked that one down the road.
yes, so.
Well, I'd like to add one thing also to what Mr. Dante was saying, is that we're fortunate to have the dunes, because factoring the dunes in basically has reduced the amount of the increase. So this has nothing to do, increase, it's not because of the dunes. The dunes is basically a mitigating factor, which has allowed us to keep the rates as were proposed. So
What I haven't heard is why you need the money. I mean, Baker Tilly says, state averages and all that, I understand all that. Are we losing money in the water point?
We're not selling enough water.
May Oh.
Meets everyone, but they typically identify themselves.
Yeah.
State what their question is, but,
Thank you.
and the work session was probably.
It was.
Yeah, what's up, we've always discussed the words.
I think you were gonna say something.
I was. I'm happy to provide the report and the capital improvements that are needed. One big thing that we're looking at is the Environmental Protection Agency. Thanks to the lead issues up in Michigan, in Flint, Michigan, they're requiring us, we had to do a lead line service line survey. And we have to replace approximately 180 lead service lines on the cost of the town. So we factored in that. There are some other capital improvements that need to be done. And we've pushed some of them down the road. We've pushed, there's a couple that, we're going to do this year. We're going to push it down 2 years. So we're trying to act conservatively. But your water plant is constantly being used and it constantly needs improvements. And we don't want to cause any issues that to create a situation where we can't provide clean water. And also, there was a work session 2 weeks ago, and the whole work session is available on YouTube.
Having studied this for the last month or so and having looked at the studies we did in previous years, this has been long overdue. And, I don't want to say shame on us as a council for not having done rate increases sooner, because we did have circumstances like COVID and put some pretty critical thought into how we could mitigate it and offset it when we did like geo bond, et cetera. I think we need to move forward with the rate increase, do the public hearing, and I'll make the motion to move forward with the public hearing and rate increases.
I'm sorry, what's your motion?
My motion is to move forward with the public hearing on increasing the rate and get that advertised, and we have to do something sooner versus later. So I would like to authorize our town manager and clerk to get this published.
It's been moved by Mr. Moreau to publish a public hearing. The second.
Second, and, we have postponed this, trying to be actually the last rate that we got prior to this one was significantly higher prior to the dunes going to be coming online. That is the amount where, it may be sticker shock, but it's not as bad of a shock as what it would have been had we not had the dunes. So second.
A second. Any discussion? Mr. Croy, have any?
I don't think we should have the public hearing on a day we have a council meeting, because based on what we've heard so far from the audience, it's going to be a discussion. So that's all I have. So when we're scheduling that,
You want a separate?
I would
hearing?
make it on a separate hearing day, just because I think, like Sally just said, perfect phrase, sticker shock. So I think there's going to be several people here when we tell them their water rates are going to go up substantially. That's just a recommendation. Obviously, Kevin, I trust Kevin's judgment.
You have a.
I think we actually get better attendance on the council night. You don't think so?
That's just a mistake.
People look for it, the agenda too, like it could mean a long meeting for sure. But we might get better attendance or do you want to do it just like at 5 o'clock, say, before the regular council meeting, do the hearing?
I'm okay with whatever. I just know that our unsafe building board meeting went right up until 6:30 today, because we had
Yeah.
a substantial discussion, and I would assume there's going to be more people sharing information and their opinions about this
Yeah,
than that.
usually we put the public hearing right in the agenda, so we could put it as like the first thing on the agenda, this public hearing.
It would be the first thing, like we did this evening.
Yeah,
It would fall under public input, and I recommend we'll set, let me get back with Baker Tilly, find out what their time, they'll set a timeline for us, and we will be sure to get that timeline to the council and out to the public. We want to make it in as many channels as possible so that people are aware of it. It's just, you don't have to set a date tonight.
We will definitely do that.
Okay, so to clarify the motion, we're just,
authorizing them to move forward with getting a published
Public
schedule
hearing.
and public hearing set up, et cetera.
to be determined at some future date.
Yeah.
Okay. That satisfy you, Mr. Carter?
Oh, yeah.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Board and commission reports. Technical Review Plan Commission.
Good evening again.
Yes.
Steve Gorski, Culver Building Commissioner. For the record. Some building commissioner report. April, last month, this is a lagging report, 2 months ago. Building permits applied for in April, 9. We had 4 in March. Total fees collected for building permits, fence and roof permits, BZA and Plan Commission applications. Culver received $2,030 in April, compared to $2,460 in March. Zoning ordinance update, the certified proposal was turned, with the updates was given to you tonight and you voted on that. I'm going to continue looking at some other zoning ordinances. Right now I'm looking at Article 3 for updates. That'll have some discussion with the Plan Commission. Afterwards, if they come up with something, then we'll ask Mr. Tankersley to review that. We had an Unsafe Building Board meeting tonight discussing 205 Akron Street and 210 Slate Street. TRC has nothing to report. The Plan Commission, the April Plan Commission meeting had no cases. The rules and procedures for the Plan Commission were discussed. So, you know, state code requires us to have rules and procedures for our meetings. So Plan Commission is working on that right now. Although we have something in our ordinances, it's not very formal or organized. So looking at a formal organized rules and procedures for the Plan Commission. And that'll also be applicable then for the BZA, but specific to them. I had no town attorney will give an update on the legal case pending with the Plan Commission, and the BZA heard one case in April for a variance of development.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you on speak on behalf of the Development Commission?
Well, I don't have any report.
Pre-commission. Alfred.
Yeah, John Halford. Wednesday, we're going to have a meeting with the first full complement of the commission. So I'm anticipating questions. We're going to have a lively group. The first question that's going to come up is NIPSCO's supposed pruning. I would put that terminology as hacking versus pruning. They really cut back a lot of trees, not only from the wires, but to the trunks of the trees. So I know I'm going to get questions on this. Why was that necessary to go so deep in this, in NIPSCO's work? Anybody know?
No, I don't. I mean, we've talked.
I questioned them and they told me that the rule is 20 feet from the power. They cut back 20 feet. I don't know who made that rule up, but that's the rule they're going by. Of
And
course,
that-
I signed a thing saying.
And that's the standard answer, Russ, because they went to the property. You're right.
And I signed saying you ain't cutting 20 feet back up.
And then some property owners did, and the other company that was involved in the decision-making for NIPSCO is Metrics. I'm hesitant to answer those questions. John, when you reached out to me, I put in an email. I've still not got a response. It's something we can certainly, and I may have not solicited the right person. I'm still trying to get that answer for you, and I don't have it yet. But I appreciate the question, and the public had that question, and we still don't have an answer.
It's almost like you have to be on the property when they came in order to,
Oh, yeah.
do anything about it. They came to my house, I got arborvitae trees. If I would have let them do what they wanted to do, it'd be gone. So, anyway, well, at least we got an answer, 20 feet.
That's what I was.
And that's on the way, yeah, it's,
That was by the guy that was doing the cutting.
Yeah.
I don't know how efficient.
Okay, and we received the new ordinance amendment, which changed them in section 1 and section 3. And we've been for years not doing anything with the park because there was a park board. So the tree commission stayed out of the park for many, many years. Well, under the amendment, which is fine, that the park verbiage is taken out because of no park board. So I'm okay with that because everything we pretty much has to be okayed from council, which controls the park anyway. So I'm okay with that. But on the same token, we're working in conjunction with the street department for removal, disposition of trees, shrubs, and stumps. Well, I asked for because you had bids, you accepted to have trees removed. Does that include those 3 stumps that have been sitting there for 3 years?
that list, and I was talking with Bob about that, John, that list was generated before we made the amendments to the ordinances. That list was kind of generated last fall, starting and where we left off at. It is, I can't answer the 3 stumps. It's something that we're looking at because what I've asked you in terms of bridging that gap between the 15,000 that's budget line and where we're at on the bid at 21,000. We've got 4 stumps that are included on it. The locations are on that bid sheet. Bob has it, and I can also scan it for you and you can take a look at what that sheet has.
Yeah, I'd like to see what you have so I can show the members that
100%, John.
this is in conjunction with, and if we do decide to help out with that situation, I need stuff that I can show.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for reminding me. Good.
And until we're going to have our meeting, we're including the new intern from the U of I program. He's going to join us. Looking forward to that because that'll give us some idea of what they're doing and how we can coordinate what we're going to do and how much we're going to need versus they give us 100 trees. I can certainly pick out 80 spots that we could use, but until we get together with her and see what their program is and see how we can coordinate it. I don't have an avenue for funds yet that are budget funds. So looking forward to that on Wednesday.
John wore a special sweatshirt for that announcement back there.
There you go. Want to come to me? We could use the help.
Anything else, John?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dante, your report.
Yes, sir. Full it. Tonight I wanted to approach the council as we, in discussions with Wayne, tentatively we're looking at June 15th. We're finally talking about a date that is getting firmer as we discuss. His consideration was really making sure that they're moving along with replacing the officer. And he's feeling more confident, obviously an ongoing conversation, but that was a date he was willing to share with me. With that being said, I'd like to start moving forward and preparing for that date. One of the things that has crossed Karen and I's table, I guess is the way to say it, is compensation for Wayne as he leaves. There are several considerations. Number one, we'll owe him for his vacation. As we also would like to put a compensation package together. After 42 years, we certainly don't want to set this in stone as a precedent for anybody who retires from the town, but given the length and longevity of his career and the service that he's provided, I wanted to ask the council in a monetary way how we could reward that loyalty. Karen and I put together a package. that it included sick time at 20%. The longevity, roughly 20%, please understand that that was a rough number. The longevity pay that would come to Wayne if he would draw it out till the fall, which he doesn't want to leave the town in that position, as well as the vacation time we owed him. That number I want to propose with the 20% sick time is around $20,000, and that includes the taxes with that money factored in. And Karen did the calculations for it, so they're fairly accurate. And that was a number that we both wanted to put in front of the council for consideration.
That sick time, that's 20% of what he had a lot of built up sick time, in other words, and that's just accounting for 20% of it.
Wayne had, may I share that?
No.
Okay, didn't know. But yes, he had a lot of sick time built up. Thank you.
Yeah, I think he's being reasonable if he's accepting a portion of that. Because technically,
Technically, within the personnel handbook, so the council is clear that there is no obligation
Yeah.
for sick time. But it's something to consider. And I think some of the factors that considered in was his service during COVID and his inability, given the staff, that to take vacation.
Yeah.
And
my entire time that I've been with the town council over 18 years now is Wayne just gave up all of that really. And at times vacation time as well, just because we were always short staffed. And during COVID only had the two officers, Wayne and Chad. I remember Wayne falling asleep at a meeting and dropping his pen, and that's how we woke up. Then so I think that's absolutely generous of him if that's where we settle. And in terms of planning a send off, I would like to volunteer to pay for that so that it's not on the town or the taxpayer. But I suppose I would make a motion to approve the package that the two of you came up with in terms of Wayne's retirement package. I'm also going to ask a question after that motion though about something unrelated.
and we'll attach the number of 20,000 to that.
Mhm.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Maroon to accept the compensation package for Wayne, seconded by Mr. Coy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those same sign.
I think there's also policy where the, I don't know if our officers own their own weapons.
They do.
or- Okay.
And there's,
You don't have to
there
worry
is an
about that.
ordinance and
Okay.
we visited that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Next matter that I have before the council's Pentecostal party. Father Stephen Felicia is putting in Amy Detmeyer as our contact with the Catholic Church. It will occur on June 8th